Hi, James. Okay, I'm going to answer your letter in reverse order, starting with your PS. BTW, John B. Cook of Tomorrow's Publishing, is putting together a special all Canadian issue of their magazine, Comic Book Creator. And I've done an extensive online video interview with him lately. And I would hope he's been in touch with you for inclusion in this publication, primarily focused on the comics produced here in the 70s and 80s. Anyway, I'll be touching base with him soon and letting him know my feelings that you should definitely be part of that issue. Eh? No, that's fine, James. Cerebus in the 1970s and 1980s. That I just looked it up. That goes from number 1 to 129. So I guess my best suggestion to John would be why don't you just reproduce the first 129 Cerebus covers, little miniature covers on the margins of the issue or whatever, and it's got the plus that well, there you go. There's Cerebus in the 1970s and 1980s, and I would defy even the most sensitive comic book fan to look at the first 129 covers of Cerebus and find anything offensive in them. Having said that, they could probably go ahead and do that. Okay, that takes care of your PS. Okay, working backwards through your letter, James Waley. Um, Last but certainly not least, I was incredibly blown away by what you'd left for me on the 5th at Studio Comics Press, but especially stunned and touched by your amazing rendering of Cerebus as the Northern Vark, which was totally unexpected and so nice of you to do. Wasn't it, though? As evidenced by this artwork, there's no doubt you definitely bounced back from any problems you were having with drawing due to your wrist situation, as this picture is outstanding and so precise with all the NL details, so accurate on Cerebus, even his mustache. Actually, that's just playing. It's I appreciate you really liking what I did, but that's after I spend 4 or 5 days in the course of the week doing my Strange Death of Alex Raymond page, and then another day doing my Ninja High School Cerebus crossover page. I have a list of things that I need to do to that I can do after that, where I've got the pens and the ink and everything else all working on full throttle, and then I can just sort of slapdash something together, which is what that was. But very very enjoyable and entertaining for me, and one of those things that I go, yeah, I don't really have to bear down on this one. I can just wail on it. I'm a bit confused though as to why you would have chosen to do the original artwork on the envelope for Cerebus Archive number 5 and then get Studio Comics Press to produce a large print of it for me. But I suppose whatever works for you, and I can't tell you how extremely grateful I am for this surprise gift. Well, they weren't supposed to do a large print of it for you. It was supposed to be size as, and the idea was, okay, it's just a sketch, but it looks pretty good, and it is a Dave Sim sketch, with Cerebus as the Northern Light. So the idea was that you would be able to get Studio Comics Press to do, 8.5 by 11 prints of the piece, and as many as you wanted to print. Just tell them, open offer. I need another 20 of those. I need another 50 of those. I need another 75 of those. They print them up. Rolly picks them up, brings them over here on a Wednesday or a Thursday. I sign them all. Rolly takes them back to Studio Comics Press, and they give them to you. That was the concept. So continuing, I notice you included a Kickstarter note beside your signature. And while I'll certainly consider using that print for our crowdfunding campaign, I was wondering if you'd mind if we also used that image as part of an NL variant cover for the first issue. As you've already seen from the NL Ashcan preview issue, we've gotten variants from Ty Templeton and Jason Liu, and included with this letter, there's a printout of the one that John McLeod did for us featuring his character Dishman. As an added incentive to convince these guys to come on board, I suggested that they include one of their creator-owned characters as a co-star with NL for their variant. And I usually found that sealed the deal for sure. Okay. However, I always stipulated that NL would be the primary focus of these covers. But seeing as you've dressed up Cerebus in his outfit, I could see this image as one of our variants, with NL in the background looking a bit dumbfounded as he spots someone sporting his costume. What do you think? We'll get to that in a minute. By the way, things have changed a bit since we put that ash can together, as my NL artist, Stephen Peterson, is now the series inker, replacing our former inker down in the States, Tim Zazan. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And Tom Nesbitt is now the new penciler for the book. And he's the one, if you agree to this, who would augment your Cerebus illo with NL in the background. And as you can see by the pages he's produced so far for the series, you can be certain he'd do a great job adding these elements to your original rendering. Anyway, just a thought, but let me know if you'd be okay with us doing that. All right. Okay, that's about everything for now. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time, and while I wish I could have visited with you recently, thanks for the letter, those portfolios, and that amazing illo for sure. Well, the problem would be that it wasn't intended as a cover, and a Cerebus variant cover would be in the same category as any of the variants that I do and Birdsong and Benjamin Hobbs do for Cerebus in Hell with a question mark. Insofar as I've now got a policy of the back cover having a provenance, which shows reproduction of the front cover, and then specifies how many copies were printed, who the copies went to, and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it would be different for your variant because you would need to give me the specs on that. It leads off with the Photojournal Guide to Comic Book Scarcity Index, which is most of the time going to be SI6, which is anywhere between 50 and 200 copies existing, which I think is probably about how many variant covers you would do. Correct me if I'm wrong. And if it's going to be more than that, then it would more than 200 copies. Then it would be, well, okay, that's a different scarcity index. I'd have to look that up in the Gerber's book. Then it would be a list of can numbers, because if Cerebus fans are ordering the book from the Kickstarter, they're ordering it because it's Cerebus, and they have their Cerebus archive numbers that I write on the back cover, that also has the print run number. So it's like there's the can number, and then there's this is the number in the print run sequence, which is just Studio Comics Press prints them up, and it's specified this is how many there's going to be. I sit down and fill the information out on the back cover. Then there's contributor copies, writer, series co-creator, cover creator, cover tech. So that would have to be covered in terms of there would be two cover creators in that case, me and Tom Nesbitt, possibly three cover creators if he's not going to be inking it, because the inker would have to have a credit and get X number of copies of the book. Cover tech, who's going to be coloring it, who's doing the digital tech side of it. And I have usually the writer gets 20 copies. The series co-creator gets 5 copies. I'm completely flexible on the numbers on that, but that would have to be specified as this is exactly how many copies of this were printed, and this is who the copies went to. The reason that I do that is because, particularly with Diamond still working through their Chapter 11, these are the smallest print runs of any Cerebus comic books. The scarcity index of between 50 and 200. So it's not that difficult to fill out the information on the back cover, and it means anybody buying the books as an investment or buying the books for a specific reason just has to look at the back cover and go, oh, this is one of Dave Sim's personal copies. Oh, this is one of the series co-creator copies. This is can number such and such. So this belonged to a Cerebus fan. So I have to have that provenance if it's a comic book. I think probably it'd be a lot easier for you to just do a print, but if you want to do a cover, I'm afraid that's the quid pro quo. I will get Rolly to scan a couple of the back covers so you can see what I'm talking about, and get him to take those over to Studio Comics Press and get them to email them to you. Okay, so that takes care of about half of page 3 and a good chunk of page 4. I'll get to the rest of your letter or the next part of the letter next week.